Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world that moves faster than ever before. One-click purchases, same-day delivery, instant messaging, fast food, and viral videos. We're surrounded by a culture that worships speed. But today, I want to talk to you about something deeper, the truth about instant gratification. At first, instant gratification feels like a reward. You want something, and you get it. Now, it satisfies a craving. It gives you pleasure, but here's the truth: that pleasure is fleeting, it's temporary, and if you're not careful, the constant pursuit of now can rob you of the greatness that only comes with patience, discipline, and long-term vision. Success, real success, doesn't happen in an instant. Champions are not made overnight. Relationships are not built in a moment. Skills are not mastered in a week. Anything truly worthwhile takes time, and it takes sacrifice. When we give in to instant gratification too often, we begin to trade our future for the comfort of the present. Ask yourself, are your daily choices pulling you closer to your dream, or just giving you a dopamine hit to feel good temporarily? Growth begins the moment you delay that urge. Whether it's scrolling through social media instead of working on your goal, eating junk food instead of fueling your body, or watching instead of building. Every small decision either adds up to your success or your regret. The truth is, the most powerful people in the world are those who have mastered the art of saying "not now" to what feels good, so they can say yes to what matters most. That's not weakness, it's power. That's not denial, it's strategy. Remember this: comfort is addictive, and addiction to comfort is the enemy of progress. Break that cycle. Delay the reward, and in time you will earn something far greater than a moment of pleasure. You will earn pride, purpose, and freedom. In today's hyper-connected world, we're constantly offered quick rewards. Whether it's the satisfaction of a sweet snack, the thrill of online shopping, the validation of a like on social media, or the rush of watching an entire season in one night. These are examples of instant gratification, rewards that come fast and feel good in the moment. But here's what most people don't realize: that feeling doesn't last. It fades quickly, and often it leaves behind something much heavier: guilt, regret, and a sense of emptiness. That piece of cake gives you joy for 5 minutes, but it may set you back 2 weeks on your fitness goals. That video game might make you feel powerful for a few hours, but the anxiety about unfinished work hits as soon as you stop playing. That dopamine spike is short-lived, and the crash that follows can leave you wondering, why did I even do that? This is the trap of instant gratification. It tricks your brain into choosing what feels good right now instead of what actually helps you grow. It satisfies an emotional hunger with temporary pleasures rather than nourishing your deeper goals and desires. The brain is wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. That's a survival instinct. But in the modern world, where pleasure is available 24/7 in 1,000 digital forms, this instinct can work against us. The more you feed it, the more it demands. And soon, your mind becomes addicted to comfort, to ease, to the now, making it harder and harder to commit to the long-term work that leads to real results. It's not that pleasure is wrong. It's that pleasure without purpose is empty. When you constantly chase momentary satisfaction, you train yourself to stay small. You build habits of avoidance, not achievement. You become someone who chooses ease over excellence. Every time you choose instant pleasure, you're borrowing happiness from the future. You're making a withdrawal from the emotional bank account of your future self. And the truth is, those small withdrawals add up. Over time, they leave you bankrupt creatively, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. On the other hand, when you start recognizing the emptiness behind instant gratification, you become more aware. You stop asking, "What do I want right now?" and start asking, "What do I want most?" And that shift, that tiny mental pivot, is the first real step toward mastery. At the core of every goal, whether it's building a business, getting in shape, writing a book, or even improving relationships, there lies one truth: discomfort is part of the process. There's no real growth without it. But instant gratification rewires your brain to fear discomfort and avoid it at all costs. Let's break it down. When you feel bored, your phone gives you entertainment. When you're anxious, food or social media gives you a quick escape. When you're tired, Netflix offers you a way out. Over time, your mind learns: discomfort is bad. I must escape it immediately. And every time you choose the easy way out, your brain gets a reward, a little shot of dopamine. It says, "Good job, you avoided pain." But here's the catch: what the brain labels as pain is often the exact thing you need to go through to grow. Writing that essay, hitting the gym, having that difficult conversation, studying for an exam, these tasks are uncomfortable, but they're meaningful. They build you. When instant gratification becomes a habit, it's like installing a shortcut key in your brain. Avoid, distract, escape. The result: you start quitting things too early. You procrastinate. You get used to abandoning the hard stuff that actually moves your life forward. This is dangerous because discomfort is where the magic happens. When you feel resistance, that's often the doorway to breakthrough. But if your brain is conditioned to walk away every time things get tough, you never break through. You never build grit. You never develop the inner strength that turns goals into results. In fact, people who constantly avoid discomfort often live in a quiet state of frustration. Why? Because deep down they know they're capable of more, but they've trained themselves to avoid the very process that unleashes that potential. It becomes a cycle. You start something new with excitement. Discomfort shows up. You avoid it with something easier. You feel guilty or disappointed. You try again, and the pattern repeats. The only way out of this loop is retraining your mind to lean into discomfort instead of running from it. That starts by recognizing that discomfort is not a threat. It's a sign of progress. It's a challenge, not an alarm. Choosing discomfort doesn't mean suffering needlessly. It means choosing growth over comfort. It means seeing temporary pain as a price you pay for permanent strength. The more you choose to sit with that tension, to stay in the moment when it's hard, the stronger your mind becomes. Over time, the discomfort that once scared you becomes familiar. You stop avoiding it. You start welcoming it, because you now understand. The ability to stay with discomfort is the gateway to everything meaningful in life. Instant gratification is like a thief in the night. It doesn't just steal your attention in the moment. It slowly robs you of your future. Every time you choose a short-term pleasure over a long-term purpose, you're making a trade, one that most people don't realize until it's too late. Let's say you have a goal: to become financially free, to get in shape, to master a craft, or to build a meaningful career. These goals are big, and they require time, effort, consistency, and sacrifice. You need to show up day after day, doing the small, often boring tasks that move you an inch closer each time. That's how dreams are built. But here comes instant gratification, whispering in your ear: skip the workout today, just relax. You deserve it. You can study tomorrow, just scroll a little longer. Buy it now. You can deal with the credit card bill later. Post that picture for likes, even if it's not authentic. Watch just one more episode. It won't hurt. At first, these seem like harmless little decisions. One skipped task here, one impulsive choice there. But the danger lies in the pattern. The more often you feed your urges, the easier it becomes to justify it. You tell yourself, "I'll start tomorrow." But that tomorrow never comes, because instant gratification always has another offer. What happens next? Time slips away. Goals stay on paper, regret builds. And worst of all, your identity starts to change. Instead of seeing yourself as someone disciplined, focused, and driven, you begin to see yourself as someone who just can't stick with it. That's how instant gratification sabotages you, not through one big moment, but through 1,000 small compromises. Even science backs this up. Studies on self-control, like the famous marshmallow test, show that the ability to delay gratification is a better predictor of success than intelligence or talent. Why? Because people who can resist the pull of now are more likely to follow through, build habits, and stay committed, even when no one is watching. Your long-term goals are like seeds. You plant them today, water them daily, and wait for them to grow. But if you keep digging up the soil to chase new pleasures, the roots never take hold. You never give your dreams a chance to bloom. And the worst part, most people don't fail because their dream was too big. They fail because their distractions were too small. So the next time you're tempted by a moment of comfort or escape, ask yourself, is this helping me get closer to the life I want, or pulling me further away? Because success isn't found in grand gestures. It's found in those quiet, unseen moments where you choose discipline over distraction, purpose over pleasure, vision over impulse. One of the most overlooked truths in life is this: you don't build self-respect by what you achieve, you build it by what you overcome. And the number one thing we all must learn to overcome is the constant pull of instant gratification. This is where discipline comes in, not as punishment, but as power. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like it. It's waking up early even when you're tired. It's choosing the healthy meal when junk food is calling. It's turning off distractions and doing the deep work. And every time you make that choice, you're not just making progress. You're sending a message to your own mind: I can trust myself. That trust is the root of self-respect. Because nothing destroys your confidence faster than constantly breaking promises to yourself. You said you'd go to the gym, but you didn't. You said you'd save money, but you spent it. You said you'd stop procrastinating, but you scrolled all day. Eventually, you stop believing in yourself, not because you're weak, but because your actions don't align with your intentions. That's where discipline becomes life-changing. Each time you resist a short-term urge, each time you choose long-term value over momentary pleasure, you reinforce your own inner strength. You prove to yourself that you are not a slave to impulse. You are not controlled by emotion. You are not defined by comfort. You are in command, and with every act of discipline, your identity begins to shift. You go from someone who tries to someone who trains, from someone who wishes to someone who works, and that builds something far more powerful than just success. It builds integrity, a sense of wholeness, a reputation with yourself that says, I follow through. This kind of internal power changes how you walk into rooms, how you carry yourself, how you approach your goals, relationships, and challenges. Discipline isn't about being rigid or robotic. It's about choosing what matters most over what tempts you in the moment. And here's the beautiful paradox: the more disciplined you become, the more freedom you create. Freedom from regret, freedom from shame, freedom from being controlled by your urges. Because when you've earned your own respect, you don't need approval from anyone else. So if you want to feel more confident, stop searching for external validation. Start honoring your own word. Start doing the hard things, because real self-respect isn't given, it's built, one disciplined choice at a time. In a world where almost everything is on demand, food, entertainment, shopping, communication, it's easy to forget one simple truth: real success is never instant. It doesn't arrive with a push notification. It doesn't come after one day of effort. It comes slowly, quietly, and only to those who are willing to wait and work for it. We are constantly surrounded by stories of overnight success. We see influencers blow up in a week, startups suddenly hit a billion-dollar valuation, or athletes get discovered in viral clips. But what we don't see is the grind behind those stories, the years of struggle, discipline, sacrifice, and setbacks. True success is like a tree. You plant the seed, water it consistently, protect it from storms, and wait. For days, weeks, even months, nothing may seem to be happening, but underground, something powerful is taking place. Roots are growing, foundations are forming, and then, one day, it breaks the surface, and the world calls it an overnight success. But you know the truth. It took time. This is the hardest part for most people. They start something meaningful, a new goal, a business, a fitness journey, and they want results now. They want instant evidence that their effort is working, and when they don't see it, they give up. They say it's not working, when in fact the results were just around the corner. But success doesn't come to those who want it fast. It comes to those who are patient enough to wait and disciplined enough to keep going even when nothing is visible. Why? Because the process is just as important as the outcome. It's in the process that you build the habits, character, and resilience needed to actually handle the success when it arrives. Instant gratification skips that process. It gives you a taste of pleasure without the strength to sustain it. That's why so many people who get quick fame, fast money, or viral attention lose it just as quickly. They weren't ready. They didn't earn the discipline. They didn't grow the roots. But when you're committed to long-term success, you start to view time differently. You stop asking, how fast can I get there? And start asking, how far can I go if I never quit? And that's the shift. The people who build legacies, who create impact, wealth, happiness, and fulfillment, are not the ones who chase speed. They're the ones who respect the process, who put in the reps, who show up every day, even when no one is watching, who embrace the boredom of practice, the frustration of failure, and the humility of being a beginner. They understand success is slow, but every second of that journey is worth it. Not just because of what you get in the end, but because of who you become along the way. In the past, if you wanted something, you had to wait for it. Letters took days to arrive. Movies came out once a week. Shopping required walking into a store. Rewards were slower, and that naturally taught people patience. But today, we live in a world where technology has turned waiting into an inconvenience. With just a few taps, you can get food, entertainment, attention, or validation instantly. And while this convenience has made life easier in many ways, it has also amplified the problem of instant gratification like never before in human history. Let's take a closer look. The dopamine trap. Every time you receive a notification, a like, a text message, or even just scroll through endless content, your brain releases dopamine, a feel good chemical that rewards you. This makes you want more, and more, and more. Suddenly, your brain gets wired for constant stimulation. The result, you become addicted to ease, addicted to now. That's why it feels hard to focus on long-term goals. Your brain, trained by technology, now craves immediate feedback. When you don't get results fast, like building a skill, writing a book, or developing a business, it feels boring. That boredom, it's withdrawal. Withdrawal from the instant rewards your phone constantly delivers. This is why people struggle to read a full book, sit in silence, or work without checking their phone every few minutes. It's not a lack of talent or drive. It's a rewired brain screaming for distraction. The illusion of productivity even worse. Technology can trick you into thinking you're being productive when you're not. You feel busy, connected, informed, but at the end of the day, nothing real has moved forward. You watched motivation videos but didn't take action. You responded to emails but didn't work on your core goals. You stayed online for hours but didn't create anything of value. It's a digital illusion. You're active but not achieving. Social comparison and anxiety. Technology also feeds instant gratification by constantly showing you others who seem to have already succeeded, faster, younger, and better than you. Their highlight reels make your progress feel slow, your journey feel insignificant. And that discouragement leads you right back into the arms of temporary pleasures, scrolling, binging, avoiding. But what you're seeing is not reality. It's a filtered version of success. What's real is the deep, slow, often invisible work that success truly requires. The solution, conscious control technology, is not evil, but it must be used, not allowed to use you. You need to create intentional boundaries, time blocks, digital detoxes, silent hours. You need to, if instant gratification is like fast food, quick, cheap, and addictive, then delayed gratification is like a home-cooked meal. It takes more effort. It's not always convenient, but the result, far more satisfying, nourishing, and meaningful. At the core of every meaningful accomplishment lies one powerful habit: the ability to wait, to postpone pleasure now so you can enjoy something greater later. This is delayed gratification, and it's not just a mindset, it's a lifestyle. When you learn to delay gratification, you are telling yourself, I am capable of controlling my impulses. I believe in my future more than I crave the moment. What I want most is more important than what I want now. That mindset changes everything. From craving to control, imagine working out for months, resisting junk food, and finally seeing your body transform. The pride, the confidence, the energy, that's not just physical. It's emotional, it's spiritual, because you didn't just achieve a goal. You became someone stronger, more disciplined, and deeply in control. Now compare that to the fleeting joy of skipping a workout to watch a show or eat comfort food. One gives you a sugar rush, the other gives you self-mastery. From dopamine to purpose, delayed gratification helps you break free from the dopamine-driven trap of chasing quick highs. Instead, you start chasing purpose. Goals, legacy. You start aligning your daily actions with your highest values, not your lowest cravings. It's how students graduate, how entrepreneurs build businesses, how artists finish masterpieces. It's how parents raise great children and leaders create lasting impact. These things don't come from short bursts of pleasure. They come from long seasons of consistent, often uncomfortable effort, and a deep inner belief that what's coming is worth it. The fulfillment gap, here's the beautiful part. The longer you wait, the more fulfilling the reward becomes. That promotion you earned after years of effort, it feels incredible. That relationship you built slowly and intentionally, it feels unshakable. That dream you worked for in silence while others